Welcome back to Press Review. Let's start by taking a look at today's front pages in the Middle East. The Egypt Independent is reporting that the area surrounding Al-Azhar University saw clashes between security forces and Brotherhood students who blocked Al-Nasr Road, flashing the Rab'a sign, demanding the release of their colleagues and chanting slogans against the army and the police. The paper also reports that the search for a Malaysia Airlines jetliner deep in the Indian Ocean was again cut short yesterday when technical problems forced the US Navy underwater drone to surface without finding anything. From Beirut, the Daily Star leads reporting that the Kataib leader Amin Jmail is expected to declare his candidacy for the presidential election soon, making him the second presidential hopeful from the March 14 coalition. The paper also reports that the Palestinians gathered across the West Bank and Gaza for rallies of solidarity with Israeli-held prisoners as peace talks near collapse after the Jewish state refused to free long-serving inmates. Turkey's Hurriyet Daily News reads its front page reporting that Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan has told his lawmakers that he is still undecided as to whether he will pursue the presidency, urging his charges not to speculate on the party's candidate. The paper also reports that Kurds in northern Iraq and Syria have been divided by a 17-kilometer trench, which was dug by the Kurdistan regional government ostensibly to prevent the infiltration of militants and smuggling from the war-torn country. Israel's Jerusalem Post leads its front page reporting that Commander Baruch Mizrahi has been buried in Jerusalem after being killed in a pre-Passover attack 2 days earlier. The paper also reports that Israeli and Palestinian talks are scheduled to resume today to come up with a formula that would enable a continuation of the peace talks past their April 29 deadline. The Saudi Gazette leads reporting that some 32 agreements with Saudi companies have been signed to employ 5,300 Saudi women in various fields during the current year. The paper also reports that a Saudi man has died of the Middle East respiratory syndrome in Jeddah, where authorities have sought to calm fears over the spreading respiratory illness. The UAE's Khaleej Times is reporting that a ferry carrying 462 people, mostly high school students, on an overnight trip to a tourist island sank off South Korea's southern coast, leaving more than 280 people missing despite a frantic, hours-long rescue by dozens of ships and helicopters. The paper also reports that an Egyptian court has sentenced 119 supporters of the Muslim Brotherhood, former President Mohammed Morsi, to 3 years each in prison. Now let's take a look at the top Middle East news from UK papers. The Independent leads Middle East news reporting that a convicted killer in Iran has been saved from public execution at the last possible moment after the family of the victim decided to spare his life. Balal Abdullah, now in his 20s, was found guilty of murdering Abdullah Hossainzadeh during a fight in the street 7 years ago when they were both 17. And The Guardian leads this Middle East news reporting that Egypt's gay community fears it is the latest target of the country's authoritarian government after a series of recent raids on gay people. Activists interviewed by The Guardian said they had collectively documented up to 9 raids across the country since October 2013, with most significantly at least 4 raids have seen people arrested at home rather than at parties or known meeting places, raising concerns that the community is facing the start of a targeted crackdown. And now let's take a look at the top Middle East section in international papers. The Los Angeles Times leads Middle East news reporting that Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas has told Israeli lawmakers that it was still possible to revive moribund peace negotiations. Abbas told 5 Israeli opposition legislators from the Labour and Meretz parties that he was willing to extend the negotiations past their April 29th deadline if the Israeli side commits to the principle that can allow an extension. And finally, China's Global Times is reporting that at least 7 people, including 2 children, have been killed and 30 others wounded by suspected rebel shelling targeting a number of districts in the country's northwestern province of Aleppo. For more updates, please visit Levant.tv. Thanks for watching. We'll be with you back soon. Bye for now.